Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at the London property market, specifically right now, February 2026.
Right.
And the thing is, the big headlines about record prices, they're really masking what's actually happening on the ground.
They really are.
We've been digging into some analysis from Mortgage Introducer and some really sharp insights from a broker, James Carter. And the story isn't what things cost to buy.
No, it's what they cost to own.
Yeah.
It's a huge psychological shift. I mean, the old mantra was location, 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 right?
Of course.
Now it's being replaced. The new rule is, well, it's maintenance, management, and insurance.
So let's talk about that. Take an area like Soho,
Mhm.
prime central London. That's supposed to be the dream.
The absolute dream, yeah.
But the data shows those flats are just sitting there. James Carter points this out very clearly. Nobody's buying.
They're completely stuck, and this is creating what he calls a service charge trap. Yeah, and we're not just talking about a bit of inflation on the concierge bill. We are seeing service charges spike by around £500 a month.
Wow.
Compared to just a few years ago.
But hold on, £500. If you're buying a multi-million-pound flat in Soho, is that really a deal breaker? It sounds like a rounding error.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But it's not about the immediate cash. It's what that number represents. It's the post-Grenfell reality hitting home.
Ah, okay.
That spike is almost entirely driven by building insurance. Insurers are now incredibly wary of anything with cladding, complex fire safety work.
So the risk is just too high for them.
Exactly. So a buyer looks at that 500 quid a month and sees a cost that could spiral even further. It becomes this invisible debt that you inherit, and it actively drags the value of the property down.
It basically makes the asset toxic.
Mhm.
So if the shiny new builds in the city center are out, where are people looking? Where's the smart money going?
It's fleeing to safety.
Hmm.
Carter calls it a two-speed market. So while the center stalls, the core residential zones, the classic family areas with good schools, they're holding up. But the key thing is, buyers want freeholds. They want a house where they are in control.
No management company nightmares?
Precisely.
But you can't just trade a flat in Soho for a house in, say, Wimbledon without a lot of financial pain in between.
And that is the friction. That's the huge problem. Carter calls it the cost of the jump.
The cost of the jump.
Yeah. To go from that flat to a house, you're looking at the price gap plus agent fees and the big one, stamp duty. It adds up to a minimum sunk cost of £50,000.
50,000 just to move.
Just to do the transaction. And that number, that £50,000 wall, is completely reshaping the property ladder.
How so?
Well, the old idea of buying a starter flat, you stay a couple of years, build some equity, and trade up. It's dead. It's mathematically impossible.
You just burn all your profit on the fees.
You'd burn it all. So what we're seeing is families skipping rungs.
Skipping runs.
They're renting for longer, maybe staying with parents, to save up a much bigger deposit so they can leapfrog straight to what they see as a forever home.
Or at least a 10-year home.
Exactly. A 10-year horizon. They have to spread that £50,000 hit over a decade for it to make any sense.
But if you're planning to stay somewhere for 10 years, that must change how you view a property, right? You can't afford a mistake.
Oh, completely. The mindset has become forensic. Carter says first-time buyers are not walking in and looking at the paint colors.
No.
They're like auditors. They're demanding to see the sinking fund accounts, the management company's 5-year plan, all of it.
And if they find something they don't like?
They use it as leverage. They know they have the power now. He says for a property that's been sitting on the market, asking for a 10% discount, that's now a realistic starting point.
That's a huge shift. Now, one thing I saw was about bridging finance. With all these long, complicated chains, surely that's the solution.
It's a solution that usually kills the patient. It sounds great in theory, a short-term loan to bridge the gap. But Carter says 90% of his clients, once they see the real numbers, they run.
Why? Is it just the interest rate?
It's how aggressive the rates are.
Right.
You're not paying an annual rate. You're paying a monthly rate plus huge setup fees.
Yeah.
If your own sale gets delayed by a few months, that bridging loan can eat your entire deposit. It just destroys your equity.
So to sum it up, we have a market where service charges are pushing people out of flats and transaction costs are locking them out of houses. We've gone from being obsessed with the headline price
to being obsessed with the total cost of ownership. That is the single biggest change. And it leads you to a pretty provocative thought.
Go on.
If all these costs are forcing people to stay in a property for 10 years instead of 2 or 3, Have we officially killed the property ladder?
It doesn't sound like a ladder anymore. It sounds more like a property vault. You get in, the door slams shut, and you don't come out for a decade.
A property vault. That's a perfect, if slightly terrifying way of putting it.
Something to think about. Thanks for listening to this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.